The strengthened bombing in latter weeks of East Ghouta, and region external Damascus how has been beleaguered by the mode of Bashar al-Assad for year, has painted world conviction. Pardon world told, blatant war crimes were creature devoted on an epical scope down there, and the UN Families Agent UNICEF published a symbolical empty declaration, proverb in a note down there were no speech to explain the affliction of family. UN Registrar General Antonio Guterres outlined it as Hades on land. The newest attack has induced warnings how the Assad mode, that is supported by the Ruski War, is preparation to stampede the insurgent-held exclave. The Ruski War-told environment illicit gunman formations include neglected telephone call to halt fight and lay downward their weapon in East Ghouta and are prevent civilian population of outgoing the dispute area. Almost 400,000 human beings are captured in East Ghouta, lot of them in frantic requirement of human assistance, on to the joint nations. In a declaration, the Ruski War named the facility on the land in East Ghouta a crucial human position and told negotiations to solve the dispute include been derailed. Several human beings are back household, although with Tuesday, the Ruski War told, 219 human beings include refundable household, 198 of them to Deir Ezzor, 9 are refundable to Damascus and 12 refundable to Homs. Above the recent 24 several hours, several cases of ceasefire violations include been recorded in the provinces of Latakia, Aleppo, Idlib, Homs and in the East Ghouta, the suburban area of Damascus. In how identical time, the Ruski War told 3 ceasefire agreements include been signed in the settlements of Al-Qasabiyah, Urainba and Stuck al-Director, Idlib Provincial. One day outlined as the granary for Damascus, East Ghouta is the identical region how was the goal of an estimated chemistry assault in 2013, that activists say annihilated on 1,400 human beings. In latter days, families include retreated to homemade subterranean shelters in bounded meal and water supply as they try to orphanage of the intensive bombing. The Ruski War told the Center for Conciliation is work to stabilize the human position in Syria. Countrymen in Ain al-Shikak, Latakia Provincial and Kidin, Aleppo Provincial, include acquired meal supplies, clothing and naked essential items in full weight of more than rather than 2 tons, the declaration reads. Representatives of the Ruski Center detained a mercy occasion in Al-Tal, Damascus Provincial, wherever human beings were taking into account clothing. Countrymen in Sakiya, Deir Ezzor Provincial, include acquired potable water supply. Options are more bounded for such injured as the bombs, missile strike and shells rain fall downward. 20 care means include been aim with Monday, on to tweets of SAMs, several of them in wet drum bombs. Of such means, 4 persons were fully ruined and 2 include provisionally hanging their activities. SAMS lose 3 of its public health workers in the strikes, it told. With Tuesday, the Ruski War told medics visited to 211 human beings. He outlined a frantic position wherever doctors were with overdue drugs, consisting anesthetics, since they had no some stock option. Machinery in operational theaters and intense thoroughness units is out of date and down there are just on 105 doctors to thoroughness for all such captured in East Ghouta, he told. Aslan, who was in his recent year of top high school while the civilian war began almost 7 years back, has been volunteering as a care employee for the history 6 year. Requested on main services and consumer goods, Aslan told, water supply and power how we utilize to get of the Syriac party include not seen it in 7 year. If we are happy, we get water supply of nature aquifers and some water supply wells. As for power, we rely on generators and gas. These are now nearly unfeasible to discover, he added. We in Ghouta include been receive hit by airstrikes for more than rather than 5 year and the is not new to us, but we include never seen whatever love the rise. Mob flame in Damascus. The Syriac mode, that is supported by the Ruski War, says it is targeting bomber groups in East Ghouta. Mob include answered by shooting in Damascus. Syriac country news story agent Sana told 2 human beings were injured on environment while gunman groups fired 2 stupa shells on Bab al-Salam neighborhood in Old Damascus. At low 13 human beings were annihilated and 77 other were injured a day over while 114 missile strike and stupa rounds landing on few neighborhoods in Damascus. The Syriac troop answered to such attacks in accurate strikes, Sana told, destructive missile launchers and fastened official position utilized by the gunman groups. East Ghouta is intended to be one of the as-called de-escalation zones coordinated to in a transactions affected by Russia, Turkey and Iran recent year. In theoretical, such a zones, as well called to as non-conflict or secure zones, are intended to be areas wherever civilian population can dwell out of creature aim by any side in Syria's warfare. However, with November, hundreds of civilian population include been annihilated or injured in airstrikes and shelling through the nation, on to the joint nations. The World Board of the Red Crucifix named for moderation and accessing to the injured in East Ghouta. Same fight appears potential to reason lot more than affliction in the days and weeks front, and our team's requirement to be permitted to come East Ghouta to aid the injured, told Marianne Gasser, chief of the ICRC deputation in Syria. Down there are not quite care supplies to manage in the quantity of injured, the ICRC told, particularly following informed traffic on care means. Injured victims are moribund just since they cannot be purified in period. In several areas of Ghouta, whole families include no secure location to come, Gasser told. On the some party of the frontline link, human beings in Damascus are in continuous terror how their family will be hit by declining mortars. The is insanity and it has to halt. Civilian population must not be aim. UN head urges stop to war. UN Registrar General Guterres named for an instant stop to military action in East Ghouta. My circulation to all such implicated is for an instant suspend of all war activities in East Ghouta, enabling for human aid to achieve all such in requirement, Guterres told. Addition, I trust East Ghouta cannot expect. U.S. Country Division Representative Heath Nauert told Tuesday how the joint state was deep worried by deterioration abuse in East Ghouta, that has aimed hospitals and citizen infrastructure facilities. Nauert embattled the Assad mode, as so as its backers in Moscow. Russia, she told, must end its supporting for the Assad mode and its allies, and shares liability for the continuing abuse. UK main monastery Church Theresa May told she was shocked by the rise of airstrikes in East Ghouta and worried by accountable of continuing intentional targeting of civilian population and citizen infrastructures. Inviting for the abuse to stop, she told, he's not fair on the Syriac by the government, he's on the backers of the Syriac by the government as so, and we urge on all their backers, consisting Russia, to provide how the abuse stops and how such human beings who are in requirement of assist are taking into account how assist. Requested by reporters on claims how Russia is partly to accuse for the deaths of hundreds of civilian population in East Ghouta, Kremlin representative Dmitry Peskov called any questions to the Ruski Defense Ministry. These are unfounded accusations. It is not clear which they are relying on, no particular data was taken into account, and this is how we evaluate such accusations relying on particular data, Peskov told. We do not accept in these accusations.